Welcome back to Absolute Comics, the show right here that Sal and I get together chatting about all the comic book news going on in the world of comics. We've been doing this show for like 3-4 years now. I don't even know. I'm not even counting. But every Tuesday we get together here on the Comicstorian Podcast Network. That's right. We do this at about 5 p.m. Eastern. We chat with comic creators. We chat about the news. We chat about things in general. That's what we do here. And if you like this type of content and want even more, go check out our co-owned channel where we have all that kinds of fun all the time. It's called Absolutely Marvel and DC. And if you just like Sal, don't worry. He does a lot more opinion-based pieces over at Comic Pop Returns, located over on YouTube. And if you, like me, drinking way too much G Fuel, sponsorship for this episode, use code COMICS at checkout. Go check me out at Ben and Friends, my new gaming channel where I hang out with a bunch of my buds and we become stupid in various video games.
Hey.
Wow, can't believe I didn't stutter on any of that. Yeah,
you nailed it. Yeah. It's because you've been doing it for so long. That's professionalism, man.
Can I mic drop? Calling it a day. Bye.
Yeah. Now just do the outro without screwing up and we can end the show.
All right. So what comics have you read lately, Sal? Because I'm not going to lie, I haven't been able to read many because it doesn't load right.
Right. Yeah. I will say that Comixology's phone app is working fine enough.
Okay.
So that's the way to do it. I read The New Punisher from Jason Aaron. It's great. I love it.
Dan just gave us a thumbs up from behind the scenes, letting us know that it's amazing.
Nice. She-Hulk is another excellent book. It's a 5-issue miniseries. The art's fantastic. Jen Walters is doing her thing. If you're a big Jack of Hearts fan, I know both of you out there.
Both
that's
of you.
Good too. Yeah, right?
Both of you out there, I recognize you.
Exactly. Because I can't imagine anybody who's like, why haven't they brought back Jack of Hearts yet? Maybe because why? But, here we are.
Why would you have Jack of Hearts?
That's what I'm saying. Naomi is a book that came out, and I also enjoyed Batman Killing Time.
Okay. I'm looking to see what I was able to read recently. It was mostly I got Spider-Man to load and Dark Knights of Steel from like 2 weeks ago.
It's a great book. There's no doubt in my mind you love that book.
Oh, I do love that book. I love the Spider-Man book. I'll tell you that right now. If you have not been following Spider-Man Beyond.
Yeah, I've been reading every issue. I hate it.
What? Even with Parker back now?
Yeah, he's back until like Colleen and Misty like blast through walls and go, "We're taking over the book now. What's up?" And it's like, there are way too many people in this book.
That I'll agree with, but I get a feeling everyone but Parker and Mary Jane are going off to that other Ben Reilly book that's coming out when the new Amazing Spider-Man #1 starts.
I can tell you exactly what's going to happen with Ben Reilly at the end of this book. Like, it's so telegraphed. I'm like, just to make a new character out of him, but yeah.
I'm okay with that though. This feels like the redemption arc he needed, and I love that they're not ignoring the Jackal shit. They're literally like, "Hey, that was yanked out of his head."
Yeah, he doesn't remember that anymore. That's done, and I'm like, that's fine.
He doesn't remember Jackal in Vegas, and the rest of you will. But let's just all pretend it never happened.
Yeah, that's fine by me because that sucks. Yeah, good for Ben and good for Ben fans. Like, let them go for it. Yeah,
I feel like since they're doing a new Amazing Spider-Man #1, the idea of Spider-Man Beyond was just an attempt to see if they can redeem Ben Reilly before resetting the book. Because we know for a fact Nick Spencer left early-ish. I mean, I say for a fact, but we know it in the sense of Substack came around and his book suddenly came to an ending. Yeah, and he gave it a full ending. It was a complete ending. It was fine. Yeah, but rumor has it he was supposed to go to 100.
Oh,
rumor.
That would not surprise me.
So he left early. They needed a plan. Someone threw the Ben Reilly idea at them, and they were like, you know what? We'll do this until we do the official reboot with the new writer. Ben Reilly, see how it does. And if it does well, we have another Spider-Man that we won't do anything with for 3 years and ruin.
Yeah, there we go. Maybe they did learn their lesson. Like, maybe there will be a Ben Reilly Spider-Man ongoing series to run concurrently with Amazing, so that you can be like, if you like other Spider-Man, he's over there.
And you know what I will say? Here's the set, because I was thinking more about our statement. If they're going to have other Spider people, start doing it like the freaking Bat family. Stop ignoring them for every time something comes up. Like, have them team up. Because I get excited when Peter and Miles team up.
Yeah.
It happens so infrequently. But the Bat family off does their own things, and then, oh no, the whole city's under attack. Here's the family. But we have all of these spider people, and they're all ancillary, and they don't want to interact. And I'm just like, why?
See, my problem is I hate the Spider family. I don't think that Spider-Man and Batman are not the same character, and Spider-Man is by nature not like a loner in terms, like he was great on the Avengers, but even then he was still like on the outskirts. Like he was still not like, he didn't feel comfortable being there. And
yeah,
I don't like seeing Spider-Man being like, look, it's me and 6 characters that all have my exact same powers. Let's go do the exact same thing. Like there's nothing fun about that to me.
I kind of half agree.
Right.
If I had the option of the Spider family and just Spider-Man being alone, I would 100% go Spider-Man being alone.
Right.
But my argument is, if we're going to do this, if we're going to have Ghost Spider and Miles and Ben Reilly and even Spider-Woman, who is literally the LOL Batwoman of the Spider family, where she's like, I'm not really a part of you guys, but I share your name. Like,
yeah, that's right. Jessica Drew.
If we're going to do that, then do it. Because I feel like what we've got now is one toe in, one toe out.
Oh,
Marvel's like, well, we want Spider-Man to compete with Batman, and Batman has a fat family, but it doesn't really mesh with Spider-Man. So let's have the existence of it.
Yeah,
but they never interact. Like,
no, it's true. Like, yeah, even when he, like, I don't mind him interacting with Miles, but I also like when it's infrequent. Although nowadays it's almost like it's deliberate. So I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's really weird.
Well, I mean, just case in point, even in Spider-Verse, he teamed up with everyone. And then in the second Spider-Verse, they're like,
he's not even in the damn thing.
Has like Peter Parker didn't show up. Like, what?
Yeah. Which was great for me because it meant I didn't have to read it. And I didn't.
That's what I mean. Like, they're so dead set on keeping Peter away from everyone.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like that's definitely like a decision that is made from on high. Like someone at like the highest level is like, Peter's a loner. Don't put him. Don't create a Bat family. Like, do everything you can, but without doing it, without actually making it a Bat family.
I was like, because even in the second one, he technically was a part of it, but they decided to, like, the characters in the story decided to leave him out because he was fighting Morlun the whole time. It was like,
he had a tie. Yeah, he had a tie-in or whatever.
Like you go do your thing. We don't need you. We're gonna deal with this ourselves. The third one, they didn't even mention him. It was just like, oh, Miles, come on.
Right. Yeah, fine by me.
But anyway,
so that's what I'm reading. How about you? Anything big that you're reading?
Spider-Man's basically it. I'm still digging Task Force Z now that they've kind of explained it.
Okay,
that is one of the book ideas. Jason running a team of zombies from Arkham that needed to be explained issue 1 because it took 4 issues to tell me what the hell's going on. And 1 issue in, I'm like, this is the stupidest idea I have ever seen. And then issue 2 comes around and I'm like, you're not fixing it. And issue 3 comes around and I'm like, now Jason's a zombie? What are you doing? And then issue 4 rolls around and they're like, here's the whole story. And I'm like, oh, this is great.
Tiffany read that book too. And she was like, she's like, I don't even know why I'm reading this thing, but she read every issue.
Once they explain the plot and why this is happening and what is going on, this is pretty cool, actually. I like the idea now.
Yeah, and it's seemingly like connected with everything. Like the Lazarus, whatever the hell they're using, is connected to the Robin book.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
And I like that. And now it just, they needed to explain that in the front, not later.
I think they were just so high on the idea. They're like, people will buy this and they won't ask any questions. They'll just enjoy it as it is. And then we'll do their reveal. And they were like, uh-oh, people are really crapping on this book. Because I didn't know anybody who was like, I love Task Force Z. I just knew people who were like, Task Force Z is weird and I don't like it.
No, basically what they've gone to explain it is the technology they're using is a Lazarus type pill, which revives you enough to make you brain dead and dependent upon the people who give you the pill.
Yeah.
So that allows them to bring in characters like Bane and Man-Bat and Arkham Knight and then repeatedly kill them like Suicide Squad-esque. But then they added another level to it where if you give them enough, they actually get their memories and consciousness back. So it's become a whole game of how much do we give them, but how much do we keep away to keep them kind of dependent upon us.
Yeah.
It's also allowed situations like Jason killing Bane a second time, like him getting his revenge and Bane getting up, which is like, okay, cool. And now they've elaborated that what Jason is working for is actually a ripped off thing that Two-Face is running because the real one is government sanctioned over here.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And I'm liking that. I like that all that twist they've brought back.
Yeah, no, that's a really I like the twist. I like the use of Two-Face. And I like the connections to other books, which is like, implying a large DC universe, which is what we want anyway. So that's great.
Yeah. What do you think they're going to use the pill or the pit with Robin to bring back Alfred? It's going to be one of them.
I think it's got to be some kind of like, I think it's got to be the pit, right? Or no, because Robin took the vial with him. I think it's got to be that he's going to like, maybe Batman has like a contingency, like the Lazarus Protocol. Like there's some like unused secret chamber like in the Batcave that like Damian knows about because he's his son. And he's like, if I use this in conjunction with this, we'll bring back Alfred and it'll work out.
They use them both as a way to make it so they can't bring everyone back, but they brought back Alfred.
Exactly. Like we can't bring back the Waynes or, whoever is actually dead. I don't know anyone who's really literally dead still. But
I mean, all the villains are, but they're all half alive right now. So it's kind of like whatever.
Well, unless you're reading Joker, in which case, oh no, Bane is alive.
Oh, I haven't got to the latest Joker. Is he alive in there?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is he physically alive? Because they had the female Bane, and the whole point was Bane is dead. Vengeance is her name now, but they had her, and it was like, okay, well, Bane's dead, and we've established a new Bane. And I actually liked her character. Her history and origins actually was like, you've actually done something unique with her. You didn't just say, we got a lady and pumped her full of venom. Like,
yeah, no. Well, they did that, but also gave her like a backstory, so you care. But yeah, no, it's they could salvage it. We'll see. Maybe it's connected. I hope it is.
Maybe Joker's just taking place after Bane's fully revived, because I feel like at the end of Task Force Z, everyone's going to be back.
Everyone's coming back because, of course. Because why wouldn't you? Come on. If you can play with their like resurrections, don't go half-ass. Bring them all back at the end, because that's a way more motivating like Suicide Squad, right? Like not that I get my life back. No, you literally get your life back. You get to live again if you do these tasks for us. Like that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So, well, those are the books that we've been reading. I'm trying to get back into reading. It's just very difficult right now. Like the one I want to catch up on is Moon Knight, but I can't get it to load properly.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Then of course we got Batman and the Imposter. That's still going right now.
Yeah, I haven't read that one. I haven't read a single issue of that book. I hear it's good, but I just didn't care. I was like, there's so many Batman books. I'm very selective with Batman at this point. Like I dropped off a detective. I dropped off of main Batman.
What do you think about War on Earth 3 then? Because that's like a reissue series. Like what?
I'm not reading that.
Is this supposed to be? I think it's supposed to be the conclusion to the weird Suicide Squad story arc they were doing.
Oh, okay.
But Dan, I'm going to pull you in for a second because you can help me answer that one. Is it a continuation of what they were doing in the Crime Syndicate book and the Suicide Squad book?
Yeah, if you remember the Future State one where like Superboy takes over Earth 3 and he becomes the Superman of that world. This is the lead into that, explaining that Suicide Squad, what they're doing, the Crime Syndicate on the other side, as well as Rick Flag and like his all behind the scenes stop Amanda Waller stuff. It's been pretty solid so far. But
cool.
I mean, it's got one official issue, doesn't it? It doesn't have like a whole bunch.
It's got two. It's got two parts. It's one of them's in the main Suicide Squad book, and then the other part is in the War of Earth 3 book. So
okay. All right. Well, that's that. Bye, Dan. Let's go into the news, Dan. That Dan so graciously got us. I'm going to read these verbatim because he likes to put in jokes. So, Dan, if you want to edit these and add more jokes in, you're more than welcome to now. Okay. Topic number 1. DC announces a new Teen Justice book featuring a mashup of Teen Titans and Young Justice from Earth 11, which is a gender-swapped Earth, including characters such as Aquagal and Donald Troy. This team was last seen in DC's Very Merry Multiverse #1 coming in June.
Okay.
Look, I'm gonna be straight for 1 second here.
Okay? Yeah.
That's not a weird prep for seeing this book, but either way, it's kind of look. Comic books are for everyone, and I've always toted that they are for everyone, for women, for men, for kids, like across the board.
Yeah.
But it is a definitive thing that if you have a sexy, strong female lead, everyone's going to pretty much buy the book. I mean, that's been the rule since the 90s.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Where I'm going with this is we've had a gender-swapped universe for the DC universe for a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Why have we not done a book like this that is in that universe using the philosophy of 90s comics where we go, hey, we put in a woman in spandex, it's going to sell the book. Like,
right. Yeah, I don't know.
Why has this not existed?
I'm shocked that there wasn't like, we went, let's just do gender bent DC. Like just,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like The closest we got was the anime universe, which they didn't promote very well, so it didn't get any traction. But I just wondered why we've never had this entire time a super, I guess it was Superwoman and Batwoman, but like the official gender bent versions of Batman and Superman version.
Yes, exactly. Like,
why is that
Bruce
not
Wayne
existent?
I don't know. I mean, like, as far as why they didn't pursue it, I don't know. I mean, I guess because the implication is their universes pretty much carry on as usual, like ours. It's just that the only difference is they're different sexes, but maybe not. I mean, like but what they're doing with this looks like they're merging the Teen Titans and Young Justice into one book,
right?
While also grabbing random characters from Earth 11. I mean, unless that's what. Oh, I see. So it's Teen Titans. Is it a mashup of Teen Titans?
It's the
Earth
two teams
Prime?
together. If you look at it, because I saw this tweet earlier. Looking at it, it looks like we have Robin, we have the Wonder. What is Wonder
the Wonder
Boy?
Twins?
I think no, the Wonder Boy. We have Supergirl, maybe a Super Boy, that wouldn't fit. So yeah, it's weird. If you look at the image,
yeah, I'm looking at this now. Oh, I see. All right. I've never,
Shouldn't that be a Superboy? But I guess they're like, well, no, you know what? If that's Superboy, gender bent, that would just be Supergirl again.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And we got Robin as a woman, and we got Flash as a woman.
Yep.
It's a full gender bent team. And I'm not against this. It could be a fun book. You know what I mean? It depends on who it's marketed to and what they're aiming for.
Yeah.
I'm wondering why it took so long for them to do something like this.
I know. No, it's really weird that it took this long, especially, I don't know. It's insane.
But are you excited about it? I love Teen Titans and Young Justice, so I want to see what they're going to do with this.
No, I mean, like, that sounds fun. I see it's connected with the multiversity. So, hopefully it'll be connected with Incarnate in some way. But otherwise, I mean, if it's just for fun, I mean, sure, yeah, I'll read that.
So,
yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I'm sorry.
I mean, there's not much more to say. They announced a book with a cast on it, and we don't know anything about this universe, which is what my point is. Why have we've never explored any aspect of this universe before?
No, that's true.
It seems like such an easy way to sell books. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Easy. Right. You could easily go with sexy covers over there. You could easily go with storylines that are similar but mildly altered, and then you know what I mean. Like there's so much possibilities to do a gender bent universe and make it sell. I just don't know why it took so long to have something.
No, it's weird. I don't know. It's weird because it's you're right. There's a lot of potential for sales, which is the reason they make these books. So yeah,
they don't make Batman because of a passion for Batman, guys. They make 80 Batman books because you all buy them. So do I. Right. I buy double copies.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Next up, we got the Moon Knight social media embargo has been lifted and early reviews are in. Toting the new Moon Knight show is possibly one of the best MCU shows ever. Not much news on it. I'm just excited. That's Dan's words, not mine, but I am also excited.
Yes, I am very excited as well. Given the MCU shows we've gotten, WandaVision, Loki, Hawkeye, and What If, right? That's all of them.
WandaVision, Loki,
yeah, WandaVision, Loki.
Then it was Star Wars shows around that.
Exactly. WandaVision,
Loki.
Falcon
Winter Soldier.
God, yeah.
Everyone forgets it exists. Don't worry.
And I loved it. Like, I really like that show, so I feel bad. But Moon Knight being the best, that's tough because I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed Falcon Winter Soldier. I kind of enjoyed Loki. I really enjoyed WandaVision, and and this is. I hope it's great. I mean, like the reviews are in. Whenever they lift the review embargo and like the only reviews come out that are like positive, that seems suspicious to me. That always sounds like, the review embargo's in for people who got to see it early, got gift packages from Disney, and who enjoyed the movie or show. The real reviews will be in, or at the very least, when I say real reviews, I mean the community reviews will be in. When the show drops, and when that happens, then you're going to see a more like honest portrayal of what of the average acceptance of the show. I hope it's great.
I do want to say, fun fact behind the scenes, little stuff for you guys.
Yeah,
Sal and I did not get the early review copies of this.
Yeah, what the hell?
And this has been an ongoing problem for years where Comicstorian, Comic Pop, and Comics Explained have never gotten those behind-the-scenes things.
No.
We launched a great channel called Absolutely Marvel and DC with the entire purpose of talking about shows and movies. So you send it to us. So if you're watching this Disney Plus, people, we made a whole channel so you could send us things.
Yeah. No, I've occasionally I'll get on a list with some stuff, and the stuff I got ain't that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. I don't have Disney Plus access to early.
You know what I got? I got Better Nate Than whatever the hell. Better Nate Than Ever or something like that. I'm like, I'm not watching that. Moon Knight. What are you doing?
That's what I'm saying. We made a whole channel so that we could talk about the shows all the time. So you guys have a reason to send us stuff. And I know you're watching Disney Plus executives.
Oh yeah, we're huge fans of the show. Which
we're on the big screen TV in the conference hall. They're like, guys, Absolute Comics is starting. Get in there.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know they wanted to watch Moon Knight early. Oh.
Yeah. But anyway, that's also why Dan and I are launching Comicstorian Unfiltered. It's just going to be all theories and stuff over there. Something will get me early access to Disney Plus. It's all. If I achieve that, I retire. Telling you right now. Everyone, if I get early access to Disney Plus because of these channels, I'm retiring. If I disappear from every podcast and video, I got early access to Disney Plus.
That's right. I'm watching all the shows before they come out.
All right, next up, we got adding even more Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Mutant, and X-Men rumors. Halle Berry has returned to her shorter Storm haircut.
Here's the thing, right? I feel like if they're going to... Professor X, there's no doubt in my mind Professor X is in the Multiverse of Madness. Right? And that it's Patrick Stewart. Like, that's no doubt in my mind. So we got that. That's Joe Friday. We can put that aside because it's just the facts. But when it comes to this, someone... okay, you could do one of two things in the Professor X cameo, right? You could either have Professor X come out in a CG yellow hover chair, which is, I think, a crowd pleaser. Or you could have a fan favorite, a beloved original Bryan Singer universe X-Men cast member push the wheelchair.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go for the latter, it's either going to be Wolverine or Storm. And
I get what you're saying. I 100% agree with you on that, okay? We'll probably make a full video on this later. But... Over at Absolutely Marvel at DC. Anyway,
yeah.
I get what people are saying about James McAvoy. I even get with Sophie Turner. That was back in January.
Right.
This movie drops in May.
Right.
So I think she just wanted to change her hair. Now, I could be wrong, and maybe this is when they could fit her in to then shove it into the movie. But that would be some real late reshoots.
Yeah,
to get Halle Berry in there. And because I just checked that link. She posted the haircut March 14th.
Right. That was yesterday.
So that means for that color, the color dye to be that vibrant, coming from someone who has dyed his hair before, the purple, she got that. If she did that for that movie, that's been like that for a week.
Right.
So that means that they would have had to film it within a week, or we would start to see it grow out and it would start to not look right.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to do reshoots this close to the release and get it worked in.
No, I don't think so. I mean, unless it's an old photo, like unless she held on to that photo and waited until now to post it.
According to this, her post is, "This is for all my beautiful fans that have wanted my short hair back. This is for you." But it is dyed white, like Storm.
Well, here's the thing. She is, you can tell from the photo, she is at like a CW premiere. So just find out where this picture was taken, and then you'll know when it happened. But either way, I mean, if it is for a Multiverse of Madness cameo, you know, they could easily. I mean, the fact is, Nick Fury was not in the scene with Tom Holland in Far From Home. They shot him against a green screen. He's not even holding a gun in that scene. So like you could have you could have no one bring Professor X out to the scene, and then have Professor X, like, you know, and like the Illuminati go off screen, and then have a shot over the shoulder for a stunt double for Patrick Stewart, and have him go like, oh, hello. And then Storm walks in, you know, and be like, oh, Professor, you done with your meeting? Like, you know, that kind of thing. And it's just, she came out of a, you know, green screen wall and that's it. We just put that in, boom.
And I don't deny it could be the case. Like, I'm not, they could easily cram with the way digital age works, you could cram it in. But I think it's just too close. I don't know why they would bother at this point, unless they're really just like, get everyone humanly possible into this movie.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you that it's just a coincidence. But also,
even our chat is like, well, she could have worn a wig.
Yeah,
and
easily.
You're right. But then why would she dye her hair this close? If she wore a wig back then, but then cut her hair, that doesn't make much sense. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
Well, hey, I wore a wig in December, and then in March I cut my hair short to do it anyway.
Yeah, no, exactly. The other thing is, like, you know, it's a pretty severe hair change, so it's like,
for a cameo,
right? Like, is she working? Because, like, here's the thing: if she's going to be in like Multiverse of Madness, you cut your hair. But if you're like making a movie, maybe like 3 weeks from now, do you cut and dye your hair to a point where you need a wig to be able to do this other movie that is not you as Storm?
I'm seeing if she's slotted for anything this year. No, she's done nothing since COVID started.
Okay, well, there you go. Then maybe it's just for fun. Maybe it's because she just loves being Storm, and maybe it's because she's in the movie. But
maybe they are going to cram it in. But the movie was originally supposed to come out in March.
Yeah,
and we know they pushed it back for, we don't know the reason,
but we all think it's
Batman. They didn't want to compete with Batman. That's all it basically comes down
to. And good form. Like, don't do that. But also,
I don't see them working in last second extra. Well, we pushed it back 2 more months. Why don't we just do more cameos? Halle Berry, you free?
I actually wouldn't be surprised, because I believe that Marvel doesn't have nearly as much faith in Doctor Strange as they act like, and I think they're like, listen, you know, we could have just made a really cool Doctor Strange movie for like $80 million, but let's make a $250 million Doctor Strange movie that has every single cameo you could possibly imagine in it, because the No Way Home effect, because Sony made that Spider-Man movie. Like, that's not really ours. That's Sony's movie. So like, we need a counter to the Spider-Man effect. And how will we do that? Well, we're going to have every other Marvel character show up in this Doctor Strange movie, because we don't care about Doctor Strange as a character. And he, you know, what's he going to do? He's going to become Silver Supreme again. He'll be sad he doesn't have a girlfriend at the end of the movie, you know, whatever. So the rest of it could just be choked with cameos and references and stuff. And I mean, America Chavez seems to be like one of the main characters of that movie. That's a character that like could get their own story or a Disney Plus show or whatever. But instead, she's going to be jockeying for screen time against the titular character. So it shows that Marvel's like, I don't care about Doctor Strange, whatever. Just shove them all in there. So they're like, oh, we have 2 more months. Oh, who didn't we get? You know, I can imagine.
And you might be right.
Like,
especially if Halle Berry's not slotted in for anything, and they're just like, hey, do you want to come back and make like a 2-second line cameo?
Exactly.
As Storm. I mean, yes, you might be. I'm not saying there's no way in hell it's going to happen. I'm just saying I don't think it's likely. That's all.
Yeah. No, I want to believe. I hope it's not likely. I hope it's just a coincidence, because not that I don't like her or her as, but I'm like, enough. Like, let's enjoy Multiverse of Madness as a really cool movie that has like maybe one Illuminati cameo in it. Like, let's move on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I do want to, because someone asked, why wouldn't you want to compete with Batman? It's simple. If you compete with Batman with Doctor Strange, one of them is going to win. And if an MCU movie comes out to compete with Batman and then loses to Batman, that's just not going to look good.
The optics of that, because they're competing studios. Those guys are fierce competitors, and you know, even if like, look, if they released a Doctor Strange movie a week before or after Batman, guess what? I'm seeing 2 movies that week. You know what I mean? Like, I'm seeing Doctor Strange and Batman, but not everyone is. And for a lot of people, movies are expensive. A lot of people have kids. It's hard to wrangle. Plus, neither of those movies is probably appropriate for kids anyway, so you can't drag them to the movie. It's just a choice for some people.
It's going to be a choice, and they don't want. And if it's a simple situation of like, okay, do we want people to go see Doctor Strange or Batman? Do we want them to pick, or do we want to bump Doctor Strange a couple of months? And then there's no contest, and then we're just going to look at who gets the most box office opening.
Yeah,
like that's what it comes down to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like if it was a Superman movie, I could see them competing. A Wonder Woman movie, I could see them competing. But Batman, they're like,
that's the number one, right? Like, yeah, if it was any other DC property, Marvel would go, let's bring it on. Like, let's do it. If it was Aquaman, they'd be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's take, because it wouldn't be, for Marvel's approach, they wouldn't be like, let's compete with Aquaman. They'd be like, let's take down Aquaman.
Yeah.
With Batman, though, it's like, I don't want to lose to DC.
And that I think that's what it is. They may or may not have won. We don't know. Doctor Strange might beat it out with enough cameos, but they don't want to test that.
No. Instead they'll dominate June.
Yep.
Or whenever it's coming out. May. It's May. I'm sorry.
They'll just own that whole month. So
yeah, exactly.
All right. So moving on, we got Nicolas Cage has spoken out about wanting to play a villain in the Batman universe, and which villain in particular he was interested in portraying. Egghead. Surely with an evil mastermind plot to steal the Declaration of Independence, Dan. Dan's laughing off screen because he's like, Bendy said he's going to read my stuff.
Yeah.
I just think that's Nicolas Cage talking out of his ass.
Yeah.
Just like if you talk to Pattinson, he's like, oh, my favorite villain's Condiment King. Like,
right. Yeah, they're not going to make it Condiment King. Like, it's just for fun. You know, it's them being cheeky. I don't blame Nicolas Cage for wanting to be in anything. You know, but I'm not interested in Egghead. I could think of probably at least a few different characters that would be more fun to see Nicolas Cage play. He is a really good actor, so he's made us forget, but he is really good, and so it would be cool to see him in one of these movies. But I think he's just messing with us.
Yep, 100%. Also, I do think Nicolas Cage has just gone insane in general. Yeah. Have you seen his latest movie where he's playing Nicolas Cage?
I haven't seen it, but I think that's a brilliant move for him. I think it's a great idea, especially because like Pig was a really good movie where he's really good in it. Yeah. Like as an actor, he's not just being Johnny Blaze from Ghost Rider 2. Like he's just he's just being an actor. It's really cool. So yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see. Next up, we've got Punisher #1 released last week, and I'm trying to find it in a thing so I can open it to remind myself to read it. But due to the new Comicsology system, I can't freaking find this thing.
Yeah, that's
it's showing me Punisher Soviet, which I don't think is appropriate now.
No. Probably not.
No, that's why I'm ending that joke. It's not even really a joke. It's just
no. It's
I literally typed in Punisher, and it goes Punisher Soviet 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Like,
I don't think I want to read that right now. Thank you, though.
Exactly.
I can't find the new one, but what do you think about it? Because it shows Frank Castle with his new skull emblem, as well as a story about how he got it, why he used swords, not guns, and how he's become one of the main killers in the assassin group, The Hand.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think because here's the thing with Frank, you know, when Garth Ennis isn't writing Frank Castle, Marvel is like, what the hell are we going to do with Frank Castle? You know, and because if you put Punisher in the main Marvel universe, you have to give him something to do. You can't just do what you did in the 80s, where it was like, Frank's just going for it. And how about 6 Punisher series all at the same time? And every single book is just him writing in his journal and shooting people. Like, okay, I guess, but, you know, in a world where every book has to be the biggest effing thing ever, there's no way Punisher wouldn't be like, I'm going to Latveria and I'm killing Dr. Doom. Which, by the way, that's my pitch for a Punisher book. It's called Punisher Get Doom, and that's the book. And obviously,
I want to read
Dr. Doom at the end, but like, you know, or he kills a Doom bot or whatever. Like, there's a way to do that. But like, Punisher should just be killing everybody. And actually, I think Hickman's the only one who did it, where he's like, in canon, Punisher kills every villain, and then the world ends and they reboot it. But it's hard to do something with Punisher. And so when Marvel is like, well, we got to do something with, we want to do something with Punisher, we turn him into a Frankenstein monster, or we turn him into an angel who shoots light rays, or, you know, we turn him into Captain America or some variant thereof. Yeah. Like it's Punisher, or Punisher and he's like a improv troupe. With this, it's Punisher, but he runs the Hand now. And it's like, that's kind of cool, especially in the execution. A lesser writer would have botched this big time. And I hate Aaron's Avengers run, so there's a possibility he could botch it. But Aaron's great when he's on one character and he's doing like a study on that character and he's pushing it. You know, like Aaron does violence, gore, misery. Like he does Wolverine, great. He will do Frank justice. And it's so far, it still feels like a Punisher book, even though Punisher fights hand ninjas and then runs them, and now he's wielding swords. I mean, if you told somebody who doesn't read comic books that happens, I'm sure they'd be like, boo. But I mean, if you read it, it's actually amazing, and it's like the art's fantastic. And yeah, does he change the logo? Sure. You know who else changed the logo when he joined the Hand? Friggin' Daredevil. So there's continuity of that being a thing.
Right. That doesn't sound terrible to me. It actually sounds like you can still do like a Punisher Max where it's classic Punisher shooting up people. Yeah. But my big problem with Punisher has always been he doesn't fit in the continuity of the universe. He has to be separate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the issue, because you can't have a guy running around with multiple guns, mass murdering people, and then Captain America's like, I just turn a blind eye to the Punisher.
Right. How come Thor didn't hit this guy with his hammer? Like, what the hell? Yeah.
Because like even Deadpool's like, okay, I'll give up because the good guys don't shoot. Punisher's like, no, that's my thing. I'm going.
That's stupid. Yeah. And they did a book, Punisher versus Deadpool.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, so I know I like this better, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because you can still do the out of continuity normal Punisher stuff, Punisher that we know from a kid.
Yeah,
but he doesn't work in Marvel, and that's why he's always been such a problem. Because literally you have Spider-Man who just argued with Daredevil for accidentally killing a guy.
Yeah.
And he ignores Daredevil, just mass murdered the whatever family. Like,
right. Now, honestly, I mean, like, Punisher is a Spider-Man villain. Like, when he first debuts, he's in a Spider-Man book. Spider-Man has a problem with Frank. Every time, up until a certain point, every time Spider-Man interacted with Punisher, he's like, I'm taking you down.
Yeah.
And that was always like a fun interaction. It was always fun to see Frank go like, oh, God, this stupid kid's going to try and kill me or kick my ass, and I got to get out of here. Daredevil, same deal. I love Punisher in the Marvel universe because I like seeing him interact with those characters. And like everybody has their wheelhouse when they love comic books or they love superhero comics in particular. They're like, I love gods. Well, here's your Thor book. Or I love street level. It's like, oh, okay, here's your Daredevil book. But like, he still has a radar sense and he's got a healing factor and stuff. But like, no. Frank is sub street level. Frank is regular guy, flak jacket, no rogues gallery. Like, that's kind of fun, and he works for that kind of fan. This, I think, not elevates Frank as a character, but it elevates him to a status where more people might want to read a Punisher book, which is pretty dope. And
it also got a ton of headlines by changing everything around, which is what Punisher really needs, because he doesn't have a show. And rumor has it they're like, of all the shows being moved over to Disney Plus, they're still going to reboot Punisher.
Yeah.
So they're like, like we got all the shows from Netflix, but Punisher is gonna stay out of content. We don't want that.
Punisher's pretty extreme. I mean, like that show is incredible, and I love it. And I think it still works in the MCU. Like, I still think like you could just go, especially because like here's the thing, the MCU isn't gonna do Punisher, right? Or at least if they do, he's gonna show up and be not neutered, but like the other characters are gonna go like, no, or not, since the Avengers are all murderers. But whatever. But I think it works because Frank's story is in his show, which is extremely violent and like messed up. But like, if you're just an MCU fan and you don't want that kind of gore or violence, you're not going to watch the show. Like,
it works in the MCU.
I think it's safer being over there.
Yeah, I 100% agree, because in the MCU, it's not. I don't know. The MCU doesn't have as big and sprawling issues as the comics do. We still don't have that many superheroes in the MCU. It's not odd that Punisher will just never run into them.
That's true.
But in the comics, we have like 50 superheroes in Hell's Kitchen. Like,
yes, no. Frank should run into a lot of them. But like, when he's used properly, when they address it, Zdarsky's treatment of Punisher in his Daredevil run, chef's kiss.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, it was great.
So like, and the other thing is, like, should Spider-Man like slam into Thor every time he's swinging around? Like, probably, but he doesn't, because I'm writing a Spider-Man book. Like, the reason why they don't run into each other is because convenience, because it's fake, and we can just tell him whatever we want. When I want Punisher to run into these characters, he will. When he doesn't, I don't want that, so we won't do that. Like, that's enough. But I'm digging it, and I also find it interesting because, like, there's the whole Skull controversy, and it doesn't look like they're shying away from it at all, because so far, at least on the first two covers, that skull is front and center. And in the pages of the book,
to try to get rid of it. I think it's just he had a fun idea that changes the logo. That's it. And then of course you got all the people that like to argue that everything is woke nowadays. They're like, oh, Marvel's changing it because alt-right is using the skull. And I'm like, maybe that was a talk they had. I won't deny that, but
yeah,
they don't care.
If anything, Marvel went, boy, people are really talking about the logo. If we change the logo, we'll sell more books.
Yeah. They don't
give
a crap about who uses it or co-ops it.
No, they don't. They don't because Disney has like the best lawyers ever, and they could easily like quash that if they wanted to, but don't. So that's that. But you know, if you're curious about it, I highly recommend it. If you've never read a Punisher book or you're only slightly tangentially connected with Punisher, you can still read this. If you've never read Punisher, if you love Punisher, you can still read this book, and it's still awesome. It's only the first issue, but it's still dope, and it pays a lot of like respect to what came before. Like the opening 2 pages are the slaughtering of his family and him getting shot, and the EMS just being like, what is, like they thought everybody's dead, and then like, oh my god, this guy's still alive. Like, what is keeping this man alive? Like, who is this man? And then you open it up again, and it's an image. It's a collage of every image of the Punisher from his origin to now. Like every incarnation of a Punisher comic book is in this collage, as if to say, like, who's this guy? This is the Punisher. And now we're doing this. Okay, there's one person in the chat who keeps bringing up the white dragon thing, and they need to stop it because, like, either you saw some YouTube video where they're saying that, or you are fixated on it in a weird way, and you need to knock it off because, like, it's not. Like, does it look like a dragon? The hand worships a demon dragon thing? Like, yeah. It doesn't look like the...
It doesn't even... honestly, it doesn't even matter because it's DC and Marvel, the two totally separate brands.
Yeah.
And the White Dragon the White Dragon wasn't anybody until the beginning of February.
Exactly. Like, no. No
one even knew what the White Dragon was until he popped up in Peacemaker with the suit that showed up for one episode.
Right. But, like, you're trying to pollute the argument, and you're trying to pollute the conversation, and I'm not going to let you do it. Like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing it where someone's like, hey, I'm making a legitimate point. And they're like, let me just drop the word Nazi into this conversation. There, now I've won the conversation. Like, well, no, I mean, it's a conversational non-starter, and I'm not gonna tolerate it.
The only thing I was gonna say about it, just so we could end the conversation, is even if it looks close to it. Right. Okay, it looks close to the design DC made for a character that showed up in February. Marvel didn't see that.
Right.
It's not like they saw that 8 months ago and they're like, you know, it'd be cool if we just kind of lifted that whole idea, put it on top of the Punisher.
Yeah, let's like subtly make people think, like let's subtly make people associate the new logo with anti-Semitism or something. Like,
yeah,
no, that's part of some, like, that's part of a conspiratorial concept that I'm not going to dignify with any further discussion.
Yeah.
But this book is dope and the art is great. And if you aren't like,
it goes back to what I told Donnie Case the other day, because he was talking about some people that like to create arguments, and I'm like, yeah, you just want to avoid those, because at the end of the day, those type of people look for the smallest little thing that is out of context, which is what this White Dragon thing is. Yeah. You take it out of context, and yes, it looks like a Nazi-ish kind of thing. But if you leave them all in context, you know what's actually going on. It's the same thing with a lot of people like to take arguments. They're like, I'm great at debating. No, all you did was get me riled up. Looked for one sentence that out of context makes your point valid, and now we're fighting about that. That's not a debate, that's not an argument. That's you being a jackass. So that's why I don't talk to you.
And we're not talking about the person in the chat anymore. We're talking about like the hypothetical person who's making the argument that like they're a great debater because they're a conversational terrorist. Like,
no, we're not talking. Congratulations, the person in the chat is a long-term fan, and we appreciate your support. But
yes, we do.
I agree with Sal. We're not trying to pollute these arguments, or we don't want to have a long discussion about that. So
right, and I saw it in the last, like I talked about this yesterday, and I saw the same. One person made the same point, and I was like, maybe that was a one-off, but I see it again, and I'm like, I want to quash this right away because I think that's really stupid, and I'm sick of hearing about it. And it's like, let's just not like, and let's get ahead of it by just being like, hey, I hear what you're saying, no, and then just move on, because it's okay. It's okay to say no to something. It's okay to be like, yo, that point you're making, there is no point, and it's not worth discussing.
Yep. So no, apologies to the guy in our chat. He's a long-term fan. We do know.
Yeah, no,
Thank
he's cool.
Yeah,
he's cool, and I know that it wasn't from a place of malice, but I'm like, don't like. Let me just nip that in the bud.
There's a reason we didn't bring up the name. It was so that Sal could squash the point without calling somebody out.
Because that's the thing is, like, sometimes you can bring whether they mean to or not. Like there's some folk who are who deliberately like try to devil's advocate conversations. Like someone's having you know who it is. You know, you're having Thanksgiving dinner and everyone's here. There's like tensions are high, and then one person goes like, "You know what I think?" and they're just trying to stir the pot. Like,
yeah.
You're not welcome here. Not you, but I'm saying like the people who are trying to just disrupt the conversation. And it's like, don't do that. Like,
all right, let's move on from it.
Anyway.
All right, next up we got the role of Rachel Ziegler. This mysterious role in Shazam has finally been revealed. She is going to be playing Talkie Tawny, the anthropomorphic talking tiger. Yes. Wait, I didn't know. I thought Tawny was just a tiger. When did it become anthropomorphic?
Yeah, sometimes it's a tiger. Sometimes it's like a person who walks around as a tiger, like a tiger person.
I thought it was just their pet tiger. Oh my God, it is a person in an outfit.
Yeah. By the way, if you're wondering who Rachel Ziegler is, she was in West Side Story. She played Maria in West Side Story, which is, again, a movie I didn't watch, but I did look this up because I was like, they're putting the tiger person in the movie. Okay.
Well, now I'm confused because Rachel Ziegler is obviously a woman, and the only versions I'm finding of Talkie Tawny is a dude in a suit.
Yeah, no. Tawny is normally a dude, but they're making him a girl. They're making Tawny a girl, which I'm like, all right.
Okay. Is this like when Zootopia came out and they're like, we weren't aiming for the furry crowd, but we're welcoming you all with open arms.
Liar! You liars! You don't make a movie like Zootopia without being aware of what that is. You can't. There's an element in Zootopia.
They're like, I just picture this right now. WB executives and like whoever's directing this is like, all right, so we're gonna have the talking tiger in it. They're gonna be an anthropomorphic, ripped guy who's gonna be a tiger.
Dave Bautista or something to play the tiger. Yeah,
and I'm just picturing the executive being like, what if we gave it boobs? Like, what if we give the tiger boobs? Like. There's an audience for that. I'm just saying.
Right? Poor David Sandberg's like, I mean, we could do that, but why? And they're like, well, you know what? Let us worry about the why.
Yeah, there's a subset of our culture that we don't really want to bring up too often, but we think they're going to like it.
Yeah. Listen, the mouse did it. They made a whole movie for them.
Have you seen the rabbit? Rule 34 of that. Don't Google that.
Don't do that. Let me tell you something. In Zootopia, in that movie, they take a drug that makes them go feral. That's like, no. That's a thing. Like, that's just so they like, no.
Black Knight, one of our viewers here, he's saying he's got to be trolling. She must be playing a god. I kind of want to see it either way. It's in an article, so Dan didn't make this up. It's in an article.
He did say it, but hey, listen, if Sandberg's trolling, that's awesome.
I'm jumping in. This was actually, it was released as a video. I mean, he could have edited it, but it's from the director, and it's a Twitter poll, and he's got his phone out, and he looks at it, and it's like, Rachel Ziegler, who's she going to be playing? He moves it to the side where he's looking at the script, and it says Tawny.
Okay.
And then a line, and then goes back, clicks Tawny the tiger. And so that was the leak.
Where CBR got it from.
Mm-hmm. So that's where that came from, was actually the guy who has the script posted that out there.
Okay. All right. It could be a joke. It could not be a joke. Either way, go for it. I have zero expectations for Shazam 2 outside of it being steeped in Jeff Johns' lore, but fine. You know,
I am going to comment on this.
I don't care.
We have one person being like, I feel like this guy's is new. I'm going to state this because when this video goes out on YouTube, and it will be a little bit later, but someone's like, oh, you guys act like this is new. The tweet was March 14th. The CBR article is March 14th, and it is March 15th. That is news.
Yeah, that's news. That's breaking. Although, or they're talking about our confusion about furries, which is not new, but true.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not confused. I just watched a funny cartoon, not a cartoon, but it was like on Twitter, like a hand run, and it was got turned down for a job again, and it shows him drawing a bunch of stuff, and then going to two furry people, and he presents the drawing, like. And the ongoing joke between me, Dan, and Houston right now, because I've been getting my artwork back up and focusing on that, is that if Comicstorian ever goes tits up, I'm drawing furry porn and selling it because it's worth like a fortune. Like
I knew somebody who did that for not a living, but like it definitely got them like after they graduated college, they needed the job and they needed the work. And it wasn't furry porn, but it was something odder, but similar.
Yeah.
Like he'd draw your fur avatar, but laying an egg.
Hey, if you could cater to a niche, man.
That's it. They'll pay through the nose.
Yeah,
for
that's I'm doing my artwork again, and that's been the ongoing joke between me and Houston. Like, if Comicstorian never ends, I'm drawing furry porn.
Listen, because like the thing is, it's predicated on something that doesn't exist in reality.
Yeah.
So you need to, you're either gonna pay for it or you're gonna learn how to draw. Like those are your options to get it.
I like this comment. What has this podcast turned into?
That's what the show. Welcome to Absolute Comics, baby.
Long-term viewers know what this podcast has turned into. What it is every week. All right.
Exactly.
Last topic. A new Harley Quinn animated series spinoff is in development at HBO Max. It's going to be starring Kite-Man. Hell yeah! And it's described as Cheers with Bat villains.
Okay. If Kite-Man is Sam, then that's going to be awesome. Because at first I was like, I don't care enough about Kite-Man or this version of Kite-Man to get a whole show. But if it's just like kind of a one-off episode of Harley Quinn, because like I could imagine a whole episode where it's just Cheers. Like, what's Kite-Man up to? Kite-Man runs a bar in Gotham, and the villains go there, and he's Ted Danson. Like, okay, but if you're gonna make a show out of that,
I want a show.
That's the show. I want a show.
I want a show, and I want like a rip-off of the Cheers theme song.
Oh yeah. I like somebody said Bane is the norm for Kite-Man. Yes, he'd better be. Oh.
He's just sitting at the bar.
Yeah.
Kite-Man.
I'm gonna blow up this bar. Yeah.
Yes.
That's the best part of that freaking show. He's so
amazing.
I
love Bane.
Yeah. So funny.
Where everybody hates your face.
See, there we go. Yeah, I'll watch that. Hopefully, I don't have to wait 3 years to get it.
Yeah. What's going on with the new season of Harley Quinn? Because didn't they have fandom? They were like, "Hey, it's coming out." And they're like, "Look, we've got sketches." Like,
I love how they in the fandom they were like, "It's going to take like at least another year," but they animated those characters saying that, and I'm like, why didn't you have the actors come out and save the budget and time and animation and put it into making the show come out a week or two earlier? What is this?
Yeah, that was weird because it was fully animated.
Fully animated. Like, what? It was
a couple of minutes too. It wasn't like
it wasn't like 30 seconds. It was like at least 2 minutes. What? That's like thousands of dollars. It's insane. But that being said, I do love that show, so I'm down. Like, I'm down whenever they're ready.
We'll be reviewing it on absolutely Marvel and DC.
Hey, there you have it.
See, I know how to promote.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. Sal, it's been good hanging out with you. I'm sorry that I missed last week, but I am back, guys, and we'll be doing another episode next Tuesday. Don't forget, we are Absolute Comics, and the show is supported by your donations and your subs right here on Twitch. So if you enjoyed the show, please consider giving us a subscription or consider going to our sponsor, G Fuel, and use the code COMICS. And if you can't do either one of those and you want to see this show continue, then please consider visiting Comicstorian, Comic Pop, Absolutely Marvel and DC, Comic Pop Returns, or Ben and Friends. I've given you 5 options that for free you can support this channel.
That's right.
And that's pretty much it. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week right here.